All right, let's talk about the only way to get fluent in Spanish, and fast. I'm going to give you a super clear step-by-step plan that's based on a method that actually works. Let's jump right in. Okay, let me ask you something. Have you ever felt that pit in your stomach when you're trying to speak Spanish? You know, your heart starts racing, you can't quite get the words out, or maybe a native speaker starts talking a mile a minute and you're just lost. Yeah, you are definitely not alone. It's a super common feeling, but trust me, we're going to get you past it. And that really gets to the core of the problem, doesn't it? It's not about memorizing a bunch of random words. The real challenge is being able to string those words into natural sentences on the fly and actually understanding people when they talk back to you. That's the gap, and that's exactly what we're going to close today. All right, first things first, we got to talk about the biggest thing holding you back. And here's a hint. It's not your grammar book. It's not your vocabulary list. Nope, it's what's going on up here in your head. The real fluency barrier, it's your mindset. You know, we all have these stories we tell ourselves. Things like, oh, I'm just too busy, or I'm way too old to start now, or the classic, I'm just not a language person. Sound familiar? Well, it's time to flip the script. Instead of I'm too busy, try learning Spanish is a priority for me. Instead of I'm too old, know this. I am totally capable at any age. And that not a language person thing, that's a myth. The truth is, I can learn this with the right method. And if you're stuck on that I don't have time excuse, I want you to meet Jeff. This guy, he has 5 kids, runs a business, and competes in Ironmans for fun. And he still has time to learn Spanish. So what does that tell you? It's not about having time, it's about making time for what's important to you. Or maybe you're thinking, okay, but I'm really too old. Well, let me tell you about Akko. She's over 73 years old, and guess what? She is absolutely crushing it, learning Spanish successfully. Her story is just incredible proof that, age is just a number. It has nothing to do with your ability to learn something new. And for anyone out there who feels like they just weren't born with the language gene, listen to what Matt had to say. He was totally convinced. Like, if you'd asked him a couple years ago, he'd have said, no way, I can't do it. But now, he's speaking Spanish confidently with his wife's family. So see, step 1 is all about dropping those excuses and choosing a mindset that actually empowers you. Okay, so once we've got our heads in the right place, it's time for the next big piece of the puzzle. This is probably the single most important habit you can possibly build. And that is, you need to speak from day 1. I'm serious. Not next week, not when you feel ready, because you'll never feel ready. You start right now. I love this analogy. Think about it. Speaking Spanish is like working out a muscle at the gym, right? You can't expect your arms to get huge if you're only ever doing leg day. It just doesn't work like that. Well, it's the same thing with Spanish. You can't expect to get good at speaking if all you do is passive stuff like listening to podcasts or flipping through flashcards. Speaking is its own workout, and you have to do the reps. So you're probably thinking, okay, great, but how? Well, here are 3 super simple, low-pressure ways to start. Number 1, speak to yourself. Seriously, just narrate your day in your head in Spanish. It's free, there's zero judgment, and it's amazing practice. Number 2, use AI. Tools like ChatGPT are incredible for practicing conversations. It's a game changer. And third, find a real human. Use an app like Lengua or HelloTalk. The cool thing is, everybody on there is a learner just like you. All right, so you're speaking. Awesome. Now, how do we make sure you actually sound good and, understand what people are saying back to you? It's time to dig into the mechanics of Spanish. Okay, listen up, because this is a massive shortcut to sounding better, like immediately. For a second, just forget everything else and focus on the 5 Spanish vowel sounds. A, e, I, o, u. Unlike in English, where they can sound a million different ways, in Spanish they are always pure, crisp, and consistent. A, I, o, u. Master just these 5 sounds, and I promise you, your accent will improve tenfold. It's really that simple. And what about the big one, that rolled R that everyone worries about? Let's break it down. It's not magic, it's just mechanics. First, take your tongue and find that little bumpy ridge right behind your top teeth. Got it? Okay. Now, just rest the tip of your tongue there and blow air out. That's it. Just push air out. You might have to play with it a little. Move your tongue forward or back a tiny bit until you hit that sweet spot where it starts to vibrate or trill. It just takes a little practice. You'll get it. Now, for your listening skills, you need something called comprehensible input. It sounds technical, but the idea is simple. Think about lifting weights again. You don't walk into the gym for the first time and try to bench press 300 pounds, right? Of course not. You pick a weight that's challenging but not impossible. Same thing here. You need to listen to Spanish that's just a little bit above your current level, something that stretches you but doesn't completely overwhelm you. So, what kind of stuff should you be listening to? Honestly, the most important rule is to pick something you actually like. If it's a chore, you won't stick with it. But here are some great places to start. Find some Spanish music playlists on Spotify. Try out a podcast like Coffee Break Spanish. Or watch a movie you already love, like Coco, but in Spanish this time. Or shows, or YouTubers. The key is finding content that's so interesting you almost forget you're learning. Okay, we've talked mindset, speaking, listening, but what about all the tools? There are a million apps and websites out there, and it is so easy to get completely overwhelmed. It's this thing called analysis paralysis. You spend so much time deciding what to use that you never actually get around to using it. So let's fix that. Let's build your essential, super focused toolkit. First, though, let's talk about why grammar is so important. I know, grammar can sound boring, but stick with me. Knowing a bunch of Spanish phrases without grammar is kind of like knowing how to play chopsticks on the piano. Yeah, it's a tune, it's fun for a minute, but you can't really do anything else with it. It's super limited. But knowing grammar? That's like being able to read sheet music. All of a sudden, you're not stuck playing just one simple song. You have the entire framework, the system, to play whatever you want. In this case, to say whatever you want. Grammar isn't a set of rules to restrict you. It's the key that unlocks real conversational freedom. And this is where people go wrong. The biggest mistake I see is someone downloading like 20 different apps. They use Duolingo for 5 minutes, then Babbel, then Memrise. They get confused, they get frustrated, and then they just give up. We have to avoid that trap. So here it is. This is all you need, your focused toolkit. The goal is to have one primary tool for each job. One for speaking, like Lengua or Italki. One for listening. Spotify is great for music and podcasts. One for vocabulary, like Anki. A good translator. I recommend SpanishDict.com. Maybe something for daily consistency, like Duolingo if you enjoy it. And crucially, one good grammar guide. That's it. A book, a course, whatever. Focus is your absolute superpower here. Okay, so we've got the mindset, we've got the habits, we've got the focus toolkit. Now for the final piece. How do we make it all stick? Let's put this all together into a sustainable system that you can actually do every day. And this is what that system looks like. It's so much simpler than you think. First, just 15 minutes of speaking a day. With yourself, with an AI, with a partner, whatever. Second, find 30 to 60 minutes of listening that you can bake into your existing routine. Listen to a podcast while you're commuting, or put on some Spanish music while you cook dinner. And finally, just 15 minutes of focused study with your grammar guide and your vocabulary app. That's it. It's manageable, it's consistent, and it is incredibly effective. Look, I know this can all feel like a lot, but the journey to fluency, or any big journey for that matter, doesn't start with some giant heroic leap. It starts with just one step, one word, one decision to just get started. So I'll leave you with this question. Forget about the whole plan for a second. What is the one thing you will do today to move yourself closer to speaking Spanish fluently? Don't put it off. Don't wait for the perfect time. Your journey starts right now with that one single action.